So one of the questions I get is, what do you do when you've spent your whole life being a mom and now your kids don't need you anymore? Alrighty, so I get this question all the time by married, single, divorced, all moms. And they're like, what do I do now? So we're not just moms. I want to let you know you're not just here to be a mom. Being a mom is part of life. Yes, it is a great process. It's a great experience, most definitely. But that is not your purpose. Your purpose is something that's going to light you up, something that you're going to need to go out there and explore on your own. And part of your kids growing up, it's going to be you having to rediscover who you are as a mom. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? You're going to have to sit with yourself. And a lot of us don't understand that we have kind of forgotten who we are. We have molded our whole life around our kids, and now that they're growing up, it's like we're having to sit with ourselves, and it's kind of like, oh, heck, who am I now? I've been the caretaker, I've been the cook, the chef, the nurse, everything, the therapist, the Uber mom. You've been all these roles and time's gone by fast and you've had to survive. But now it's like, who are you really? Now you get to sit with yourself and figure that out. And that's where I tell people, like, when I went through my whole flipping journey and MLM, affiliate marketing, all that stuff, it was great. But through the flipping of the homes, I also realized, like, when I was over there alone, away from my kids, I was like, this is it, Martha. Like, who are you? You're in this home. Is this really what you want to do? Is this really the life you want to keep living? Because it was hectic. It was stressful, especially when you're there alone and, dealing with so many things which were so unknown to me. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's great. I overcame that. But what's scary too, and if you think about it as a mom, is who you are in your 40s. You're not supposed to be the same person who you were in your 20s. In your 20s, you're raising kids or you're living your life, whatever it is. And in your 40s, by now, you have lived and experienced so much more. You've experienced heartache. You've experienced growth. You've experienced things that you didn't ever think you were going to overcome, and you have. And that's part of it. It's part of obtaining all these little chips in life so that you can look back when you're 40 and you're like, alrighty, I've done all that. Like, that's good stuff. Keep it going. And that's where you use this reinvention period, this time of what a lot of people call a midlife crisis, which it should be. It's the midpoint somewhat of your life where you should be reanalyzing, like, where you're at. What are your goals now? Who are you? Or have you just been on autopilot pretty much? So a lot of moms, like, they panic. I know I panicked. My kids are leaving, like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? I'm building these businesses, and I was like, no, Martha, this is for you. Like, this is where you get to level up. You were a great mom. 2 out of 3 of your kids are out of the house. The baby girl, she's almost there, but like, this is you. You've done a great job. You've CEO'd being a mom, but now who are you in your life? And that's where I'm like, alrighty, I have to do something with that. And the thing is that I also realize that my kids are still asking me for guidance. They're like, Mom, what do I do about this? What do I do? And I can't tell them, I don't know. I can't be like, figure it out. No, I have to be like, hey, I'm going through that, or I've been through that. Let me tell you what helped me, what didn't. And that's how you end up pretty much also helping your kids get through these things. And the way that I tell moms, like, you're going to rebuild yourself is you need meditation in your life. You just need it. Alrighty. You need journaling. You need to write down what you want in life. What does your life look like? You're not going to know where to go if you don't actually sit with yourself. It's crazy to me how I see so many women say, well, my kids are growing up, so I'm going to take on more hours at work. For what? Like, you weren't just put here to be a mom and work. You're just on autopilot. But who are you? Don't you want to live your life? And this is like the period where you should be reanalyzing, like, who are you? What do I want in life? And this is also part of that personal development, the growth that as moms, we need to go through. And I know that for myself, I didn't have that guidance. I had several different mentors, which was great. But little by little, I had to use all of my mentors to get me through my stuff as well. And I know how difficult that was. And it wasn't impossible though. It was, I ended up surrounding myself with mentors and people who actually saw my dream the way I saw it. Who they said, Martha, you're on the right path, girl. Like, I remember showing up every Wednesday, to meetings and stuff. And I would be tired. And they're like, dang, good job. Like, you're showing up. Good job. Like, because I'm like, it's for me. It's not for you. Like, it's ultimately, it's me to show myself up. What am I going to do with myself? Can I do these things? And we have to learn to challenge ourselves. Don't take a challenge or wanting to start a new business and then being like, oh, you know what, that fear though. Don't do that, because you're not living your life. And through conquering some of your fears, you're going to realize what you like, what you don't. You're going to realize how to set boundaries. It's going to tell you so much about yourself. Things that you didn't even know were possible. I didn't ever think I was going to be able to read permits, to be able to talk to city officials, to hold conversations, and I didn't think I would be respected by some of the men who I had to deal with in flipping homes. And I would journal, and I'm like, man, I'm a strong entrepreneur. I'm a strong home flipper. Like, I know what I'm talking about. When I walk in the room, I know what I need to know. All the knowledge, everything comes to me. And I'm going to tell you, when it came to like window dimensions and all these things that I had to know, I had to do the research. And I was up late and I was like, I'm going to get this. And when I'd go in for meetings, I'm like, alrighty, here are the plans, here are dimensions. And they're like, wow, like it all just took over. And that confidence was there. And I was like, that's knowledge. That's a step that nobody's ever going to be able to take from me. I take that now with me. And you picture if I would have chickened out, I would have been like, oh my gosh, no, it was hard. It was definitely hard being told by these men, like, we don't respect you as a woman, as a Latina either. That was also very hard, which maybe I'll touch on that some other time. And now I think back and I'm like, you did it, girl. Like, you survived. And it's something more that I was able to conquer on my own. That one, it's going to help me grow. It's going to help me build boundaries, which it's nice when you can heal and you build boundaries and people start respecting them, and that's something that as single moms, we don't have that. We had to give to our kids before we gave to ourselves, and we don't even know who we are. So from an empty cup, we were giving and we were always empty. You know what I mean? It was like always on negative and trying to give. So now this is the time that you've got to figure out who you are, and it's the perfect time because you have all the wisdom, or as people say, mistakes. Those are lessons. Those, whether you see them as good, bad, or however, you get to define how they are. But in the end, they're things that had to happen for you to evolve, grow, or feel uncomfortable, which is the whole part of life. So, alrighty, I've given you enough, okay? So that is what you do to reinvent yourself or rediscover who you are, especially when your kids are growing up. Don't be scared. That's why there's people like me to get you through it. But if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, alrighty, and keep sharing this. Let's keep sharing all this wisdom and knowledge. Like, let's help moms grow and heal, because we have the wrong mindset, and I know what that's like. And we're not victims. Like, we can create the life that we want as we deserve. And I don't think enough people know that.